Glenn, they hate us. They're going to hate us less if we don't back Israel. I don't buy it. Hell no. They hate us because of our principles.
We're very tribal as human beings. We always like to see things through the perspective of our side, to believe that we're the morally superior ones, we're the victims, they're the aggressors, they're evil. I understand the appeal of that narrative. We invaded Iraq and destroyed it. That strengthened Iran.
Iran is hanging people from cranes. Iran is stoning women to death for not wearing the damn hijab. How the hell are we going to have a relationship with them? It's a no.
Now, I just want to show you this one clip where I guess debated this issue with my friend Megyn Kelly on her program. And I consider Megyn Kelly very smart, very sophisticated, very insightful analyst. But she came out of Fox News, and that's where a lot of this mythology about 9/11 originated. That it's, of course, all about Islam, has nothing to do with us. And I guess I was kind of surprised that even 22 years later, she still believes that. And so we were able to explore in a very civil way, but I think also spirited way, and therefore revealing what the foundations of these views are and how valid they are. I just want to show you a little bit of this exchange.
I get that. And I see that point, but I also feel like, Glenn, they hate us. They hate, like the Iranian, not the Iranian people, but like the leaders over in Iran. They're going to hate us less if we don't back Israel. I don't buy it. Hell no. They hate us because of our principles, because of our constitution, because of the way we live, because women walk around in tank tops. We could go down the list, but it's not going to go away if we stop supporting Israel.
Megyn, this was the debate about 9/11. Like, why did they hate us? Why did they attack us? And the neocon narrative was, oh, they hate us for our freedoms. And bin Laden repeatedly said, there was that letter that recirculated that was banned from TikTok. We are angry at America because they are constantly insinuating themselves into our region. They imposed a sanctions regime on Iraq that killed hundreds of thousands of Iraqi children. They put troops on Saudi soil. The reason Iran hates us, and I'm not justifying it at all, but I think it's very important to have an open eyes about your own country, is that in 1954, we overthrew their democratically elected government, the CIA did, and we imposed on them for the next 25 years one of the most savage and brutal dictatorships in the world, the Shah of Iran. And so when Iran had its revolution and finally deposed their dictator, the Shah of Iran, of course they knew the United States was responsible for his imposition on them for all those decades. And so they had a lot of animosity toward the United States. There are all kinds of countries in the the Korea and Japan and Brazil and Norway that have all the same freedoms as we do.
Yeah, but Glenn, I mean, you're looking at a country, Israel. Israel has a sense of due process and fairness, and Iran is hanging people from cranes. Iran is stoning women to death for not wearing the damn hijab. How the hell are we going to have a relationship with them? It's a no.
Megyn, we have relationships with the most savage dictators on the planet, our close allies.
But in this instance,
Saudi
we
Arabia
do need
and
to
our
choose.
close allies in Egypt. Okay, but you have Saudi Arabia, Egypt, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, all of which are American allies that are among the most brutal and savage dictatorships in the world. We're fine with having relationships, good relationships and alliances with countries that are extremely repressive, as long as they do the bidding of the United States.
One of the reasons is their hatred of Iran and vice versa. I mean, those two groups are Shiite versus Sunni, and there's a long-standing hatred between them. One of them wants to completely annihilate Israel, and one of them was actually open-minded to doing a deal with Israel and getting to a better place when we were backing Israel under Trump, when we were helping making it stronger. And these other allies, Saudi Arabia and the others, were starting to look at it like, you know what, maybe we are going to have to deal with this country. We were moving toward peace.
It's true. The dictators of Egypt and Saudi Arabia and the Gulf state regions understand that there can be economic benefits from a relationship with Israel. They don't represent the people of those countries. These are dictators imposed by military coups that the United States props up. And all I'm saying is we're very tribal as human beings. We always like to see things through the perspective of our side, to believe that we're the morally superior ones, we're the victims, they're the aggressors, they're evil. I understand the appeal of that narrative. But you were just talking about the multiple wars that we fought in the Middle East. We invaded Iraq and destroyed it. That strengthened Iran by strengthening the Shiite militias. Saddam Hussein was a vehement opponent of Iran. We created the vacuum out of which ISIS emerged. Even Tony Blair says that. We were in Afghanistan for 20 years. We've been bombing that region for a long time. I think on some level, we have to take some responsibility for why there's anti-American resentment in that region and ask whether that's worth it.
I agree with that. I don't disagree with you at all on that. And I'm very.
So, you can watch the whole debate if you wanted. I didn't mean to select a certain part, but I felt like it was a pretty good representative sampling. And, as I was listening to this, I'm honestly amazed of the need to point these things out that I think should be so self-evident. But I also understand that even the smartest people are vulnerable to propaganda. We all are, every single one of us. I mean, when I started writing about politics full time, one of the things that started to shock me was how many beliefs I had ingested that were just false, that just kind of I absorbed from the ether because I wasn't focused on politics. I wasn't deconstructing the premises of it. I didn't have time to investigate it, go to original sources. And only once I started to do that, and I wasn't 20 years old, I was in my late 30s, I saw how many things I had ingested that were absolutely false, including some of that mythology about 9/11. But I do think that's amazing. But I think the most amazing thing, and honestly, that's why I want to just use the opportunity one more time to stress this, because I haven't thought about this incident for quite some time, but having revisited it today when planning the show and talking about it, I just want you to focus and remember how unbelievable it is that soon as young Americans started to discover the bin Laden letter and question the narrative that they've been fed for 20 years about why the 9/11 attack happened, and started to make links between our involvement in the region, our support for Israel, our bombing of those countries, our overthrowing of their governments, our imposition of their dictators, when they started to make that link, oh, wow, this has been going on for a long time, and it's actually part of why 9/11 happened. It's not because they hated us for our freedoms. There was an immediate, systemic, successful attempt to wipe that letter from the internet so that no one could read it anymore. I cannot believe that The Guardian removed that document from its website. What kind of media outlet would do that? Oh my God, these people are reading this document. We better take it down. We can't have them reading this and consuming it and debating it. And then TikTok, desperate to stay in the country, was easily pressured within 24 hours to just ban any discussion. They took down every video talking about that bin Laden letter. They banned the hashtags that people were using to find it. The link to the document no longer worked. That is real censorship. It's been going on for 23 years in this country, starting from that time when the government and the media collaborated to prevent bin Laden from being heard based on blatant bullshit excuses that he was going to blink or tilt his head and activate a sleeper cell, all the way up until last year when that letter was banished. And that's the reason why very smart people still believe that the 9/11 attack happened, because we were innocent victims who were just minding our own business, just being free, got attacked, not because of everything that we've been doing in that region to those people, to those countries for many, many decades, all for our own interest and against theirs.